welcome back, guys, to the podcast, the second one. We've done it on a weekly basis.
5 weekly basis.
5 weekly basis.
We've been busy. You've had some things going on.
Yeah, I had a kid.
Yeah.
He cries.
Is it as bad as they all say it is?
It's as bad as the... Oh, I can't sleep. My life's over.
One question. Is it a different type of tired?
Honestly, the tiredness. Right. So, basically, we've got a baby that sleeps, and you've got to be smug to those parents who complain about a baby that doesn't sleep, because it's like, yeah, but you're just over-exaggerating, aren't you, mate? And they're like, they had us up every 40 minutes through night. I'm like, we have 5 hours at a time.
Do you think that's just people like, you know, you get the classic, I were asleep for 3 hours, I were awake for 3 hours last night with kid. Yeah, well, I were awake for 4 hours. Do you think like that?
Oh my god, yeah. That's
It's like you've got to one up each other's despair.
Yeah,
And that's
honestly,
what being a man is.
Yeah, because basically they've done all the bad things worse and all the good things are better. So, and their kid, you know, I go, oh my god, you know, he's just said his first word. Obviously mine aren't. And they're like, oh yeah, I remember when mine said his first word like a week before yours did. And I'm like, okay, I didn't ask that. And then I go, oh, you were born, you know, on this date. And they're like, okay, mine were born a week quicker. Fuck, what?
Yeah, they have to get it in there.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, but yeah, it's an interesting one being a new father, and another father we should discuss is Joel from The Last of Us. He had a child. He had a child by blood, anyway. Had, and she was his daughter was.
I mean, she is his daughter.
No, was. His
So
dead daughter.
Is he not a father? Like, that's the question. After she died, is he not a father anymore?
Well, it depends. At what point in the story are we talking? Are we talking after he's met Ellie?
No, like in the middle gap where he's got no
No,
children.
not a father.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, he's still a father. He's just a father to him.
Okay.
Corpse.
Oh, fuck. I avoided saying it, but... So, for the second episode of the old Try podcast, we are gonna do a bit of a hot take. We're committing to it, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And are we just committing to one hot take? Maybe in future we can do like
Video
one
plans
each.
there.
Well, you what? You gotta keep going.
Your question mid-podcast. Are we committed to making this podcast about this hot take?
No,
I don't know where we are.
You've thrown me well off now.
Sorry,
Fuck's
carry on
sake.
about Joel's dead child.
No,
It's all right.
I've moved on from. Tom's like, go back to the dead kid bit. I've got more to say.
Right, so Adam, what is the hot take?
So the hot take that we've come up with, we all agree on, is the fact that we believe Joel in The Last of Us 2 deserved to die, and it was a good decision for the story.
Yes. So I think everyone was expecting to go into that game and think, oh, I'm going to play as Joel or Ellie for a full game again and watch them argue for a full game. But to be honest, I don't think that would have hit me as hard as what the actual story did. Now, I played both games back to back, so I got very attached to Joel very quickly, and then immediately had my heart torn out. I think that fueled my rage playing the entire game.
It was quite a ballsy move for them to do what they did right at the start of The Last of Us Part 2.
And I think the only reason people were upset by it is because they were expecting the game to be something else. And it wasn't what they expected, so they didn't like it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. I think people tend to get so attached to characters that then when story decisions are made very much against them or they're killed off because of how passionately, you know, deep-rooted your love for the character is and stuff, you almost disagree with decisions that the studios make about characters, even if it's actually for the benefit of the game or the gameplay and storyline.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. They're totally attached to Joel, and it makes them come up with this excuse of the game was really, really badly written and everything.
Yeah, and that's interesting you saying that because the Last of Us 2 Reddit, there's someone has, you know, one of the first comments is the events around Joel's death are so horribly written. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. That's a very passionate person, I think.
That comment that the whole game's badly written because of that one bit, and even his death's badly written. But I think it's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the scene when Abby, you know, finds out Joel's name, she's looking like, oh my god, I've actually found him. Because it's almost a 1 in a million chance. And she's looking like, what happens now?
Yeah.
It's realistic, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That would
I think that's
happen.
it, and I don't think it is badly written because Abby's straight away, she's like, oh, we've got a safe house not far from here. Almost as if,
Jumps to the opportunity.
I've got you here. I've got a full group of people back at that safe house. Follow me. And that's sort of and people go on about but Joel would never trust people like that. And at the same time, he's got like an army of clickers and infected chasing him. He's probably not thinking, I need to be wary of this person that I've literally just saved.
I've got a point here, and so they've commented and said that no time is spent establishing Gut Joel. There is a full first game, you know, and one of the points they've made is, after the time skip, Joel isn't established as a character at all. We have no idea what he's like or has been up to for the past 4 years.
They say that, but then you get the flashback scenes after each day in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do see what Joel's been doing in that time jump. You see that first he's like taking Ellie to that museum or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then you see that it's sort of getting a little bit awkward between them, and then you see them falling out. So you can piece it together what they've been doing in that time.
They did a clever thing with it. You don't establish what he has been up to before his death. Establish it after his death, so it hurts more.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and it's the thing where they kill him off straight away, and then you spend the whole game looking back on all these times, and then you're kind of thinking, oh, but now he's dead, so now they fell out, and they're gonna get, you know, make up, but he's already dead, so it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
So it's all this
But then
regret.
I also thought you get to the end of the game and you get that final cutscene where you see they didn't completely make up, but you can almost sense they've started to get to that point. And I know it's like the day before he dies, but I think that cutscene sort of tops off that story, thinking, right, so they didn't just end things absolutely hating each other. It almost gave you that sense of relief that, oh, it's not all terrible.
Yeah, and it's like, then Ellie, you can imagine the regret that she's felt through the whole game, and how it's made her more angry because she spent however many years hating him, then makes up with him, then he dies, and it's like, oh shit, why didn't I just forgive him straight away?
It's the people who... I also think the people who say it was pointless, his death was pointless. The entire game hinges on it, and it goes... Because people have talked before about the whole cycle of revenge carrying on, and it's like that carries over from the first game, because Abby obviously kills him at the start, but then because of that, she goes through the same shit that she loses literally every single one of her friends.
Yeah.
So it's making that point that, yeah, they've taken revenge, but what was it? You know, what was the point?
That's the theme, innit, that she eventually breaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though at the time, I can understand people on the first playthrough, Joel gets killed, we all love Joel, then they go on a rampage with Ellie, because it's like you're feeling exactly what she's feeling. And then by the end of the game, obviously some people might be like, oh, just kill Abby. But then when you think about it, it's just doesn't feel right.
Say the only part of the game that lost me a bit, it wasn't even playing as Abby, it wasn't that section. It was the whole side story of the scars.
Yeah.
Because it almost felt like I don't want to say it was filler because I did still really enjoy it, but I got the sense that this story is about this full-on revenge quest, and then that bit was just sort of completely separate to Ellie, and then the
Yeah.
end bit goes back to the full-on revenge, and I'd say that's the only part of the story that felt a little bit off to me because it didn't. I don't know. Maybe I didn't read into it as much as other people.
I
might.
took it as, I sort of know what you mean. It's kind of a forgetful part of it.
Yeah.
I sort of took it as you start to feel like sorry for Abby a little bit, but
Yeah.
I took it mostly as like you spent the full first half of the game raging like a maniac trying to kill everyone, and then it kind of
Yeah.
stops you and makes you play the next 9 hours without that feeling. By the time you get back to Ellie, you're kind of like, oh, am I still doing this? I think it's time to just like give up on this, you know?
Yeah, because you've got that final sort of charge
Yeah.
at the end, and I even got to the end of that where you were in the fight against Abbott, and it was almost, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, what am I actually fighting for now?
Yeah.
And even that, Ellie's revenge ends up her losing everything again, where she could have had a pretty normal life in her own house, raising a kid, but instead she can't let it go until that very last moment, but because she left it so long, she's lost everything as well. So I feel like by the end, both Abby and Ellie are just completely broken, completely lost everything. What was all that for? Just because Joe got killed. But like Adam said at the start, Joe's death was justified, you know. Someone killed your dad, you'd kill that person, whoever you are.
Yeah, and let's be fair, Joel wasn't exactly a saint. You know,
No.
it's not just what happened in the hospital or like what he did to the Fireflies. I mean, down the line, the things he'd done, and even what they allude to what he did as a smuggler and things before
Yeah.
they got to Ellie.
I think loads of the decisions in those games, and I think that's what they were trying to push, was that every decision every character makes, you're almost second guessing it, because you could say Joel deserved to get killed for what he did in that hospital, but at the same time, the Fireflies in that hospital were gonna essentially kill Ellie without asking her about it. So was Joel justified to do what he did?
I think the simple fact that it's caused so much uproar and divided so many opinions in the fan tells you that it was a good decision to do it.
I think this is it, because I think whenever you play one of these games, if you finish it and you go away with kind of like your emotions totally altered,
Yeah.
no matter in which way, then I think that's amazing.
I also think with people when they play games, I think there's always three groups. There's people, like with The Last of Us, it's people who genuinely just enjoyed the game and story, like I did. I was mad Joel died, but not mad at the people who made the game. I was mad, as Ellie was, and I wanted to go on that revenge journey. But then there's the people who don't like the game because they didn't like how the story went, which is fair enough. You can not like a story and not like a game. But then I feel like there's those people who, because the game wasn't exactly what they wanted, they just find criticisms everywhere they can. They don't give the game credit for what it is, because at the start Joel died. So they say every part of the game's rubbish, when actually I'd say it's one of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah,
It's better than the first in terms of gameplay.
Yeah, for example, if, say, the game ran the exact same way it did, all the story was the same, apart from Joel didn't die, it was like Dina instead. So then Elliot went on a bit of a spree. Everyone would have said, oh yeah, it's a decent story, but, you know what I mean? She goes on a revenge spree, but it wouldn't feel as, I don't know, like...
You'd almost think, oh, I met this character an hour ago in gameplay, and now I'm playing a full revenge game about it. I think the point of it hitting hard was that you spent the entire first game playing as Joel, and seeing that relationship between him and Ellie build, so that when he dies early in the second game, you're meant to feel the rage as well.
Yeah, and it's even worse that you have such a good kind of first game, you see this like loving relationship happen, but then the first game leaves you thinking, oh shit, I think he's messed it up. Obviously, we waited like 7 years for the second game. And then they've spent this time in the middle, annoyed at each other, and then he's killed straight away as well. And it's just kind of like, no!
Yeah,
Why?
I did my waiting. 7 years of it.
and that, like you said, Adam, you go on Last of Us Reddit, and some of the comments saying that the game's terrible, they're just making stuff up. You can tell people are just saying the game's rubbish because they didn't like Joel's death. Whereas,
So, this is what one person said, and it's basically they're asking why is Abby's character so unlikable. I think there's obvious reasons for that. But someone's put, the game tries too hard to make us like her and relate to her, but we can't, which is fair enough. Joel killed her dad because he had to. Her dad had a weapon and was ready to kill Joel. Yes, because he's just slaughtered an entire hospital, and he's about to do the same to them. It's like, he had to save his daughter, in brackets, Ellie. And then it says, meanwhile, Joel never posed a threat to Abby. He even saved her. That's enough for killing your father, apparently. She killed him out of pure bloodlust, obviously. You know what I mean? It's, people are questioning the wrong things as well, questioning Abby's motives. That's unquestionable.
Well, Joel kills the entire hospital out of bloodlust, and Ellie's not even died yet.
Exactly. He does it out of the sheer fact that it's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, this has happened to me before, it's not going to again, so
Yeah.
he's willing to destroy an entire hospital.
Yeah,
of people.
exactly. And
I think-
the thing is, even with the Ellie situation, the Fireflies aren't doing it out of evil. I know that it's not good what they're doing, but they're doing it out of this is sort of like the sacrifice we've got to make to find the cure, or,
Yeah.
you know.
I think everyone in the story reacts and does things in the same way a real person would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But just
I'd
because
say
Joel's
that's-
your favourite.
What I'd say could have been better from the story is seeing more of the impact the Seattle part has on Abby. Because it's not until really the final day when she realises, oh, shit, that's Tommy after me.
Yeah.
That's who's killing all my friends. That's who's doing this. I think that should have been day one, so that the entire time you play as Abby, she's showing that, oh, I've completely messed up by killing that guy. What have I done?
Yeah, you
Whereas
dropped little hints, aren't you? But she never,
Yeah, and-
it never gets told to her. It's like, this is why this is happening, because of you. Like,
I agree. I don't think Ellie and Abby should have met until that bit. Until that bit in the cinema.
yeah.
But I think she should have met Tommy earlier on, or she should have run into Jesse, or something like that, just so you had that. She knew what were going on as well, so it almost felt like she was starting to try and find Ellie or warn people that this is who's coming, whereas it felt like you got dropped little hints and you knew what were going on because you just played it all as Ellie. But Abby didn't have a clue until she ran into Tommy on that last day.
Yeah, it's almost like she did a thing and didn't think about sort of the repercussions, and then it catches up with her, and she's like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Yeah.
there's consequences for this.
Yeah, that's it.
After the boat scene. There's consequences for that too.
Just don't. Why?
Because hench. That's why, Tom. That's why.
Boat scene is my favourite scene. Hot take. No.
Why
No.
why was that scene
Wait.
in the game? Why was that scene in the game? Because of the implication. Yeah. I think we're very much in agreement that it was the right thing for the story of the game. It was the right thing for especially Ellie's development. It went from sort of kid to psychopath.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm really
it.
interested to see, like how we had the show come out this
Yeah.
year. Like,
Yeah.
if the people that haven't seen the show, seen the story, react in the same way,
Yeah.
or it's just like, oh, this cool. This is season 2,
Yeah, that's an interesting point actually, yeah.
because
It
they haven't
would-
had to wait so long either.
No, that's very
Yeah,
true.
and I think that shock will still hit them, but I don't know if the complete and utter anger that came out after the game, because the game got leaked, didn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, I never played it when it first came out. I played it quite a while after it came out. For me, I knew it was coming, but it almost felt a little bit like, oh yeah, that's quite an interesting way to take the story. But then I
Yeah.
look online and people hate the game, and I'm like, oh, why?
I think it's like initially they absolutely hated it, but then I think it was sort of not underrated because it wasn't like Game of the Year or something,
Yeah,
but kind of like people appreciate it more, after a few years.
Yeah.
yeah. You all deserve to die.
No, he didn't. Yeah, he did.
You did.
No, he didn't. Whoever thinks that, yeah, they deserve to die.
Anyway, as Adam said, that's our first hot take. Not
Hot
every
take?
podcast will be a hot take.
No,
Some
it
will
won't.
be.
Some maybe.
longer,
Yeah,
some maybe
and
shorter.
if there's anyone watching, if there's anything you think could be a good idea, shoot. We might do it, we might not. Who knows? But we want to build this, a community. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
I need to come across as polite.
Share with us your hot takes as well.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with our hot takes, we don't care. No.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually from Tom there. If anyone's watching, share. I need to stop saying if anyone's watching, it makes it so sad.
If anyone,
No, I'll just say,
Anyone, please.
for those of you watching, drop in the comments your hot takes about any game, and if we see one that we may maybe agree or disagree with, it might just make it into one of the podcasts, and we might discuss it at
Might make
length.
Yeah, so, good ideas only.
And we'll have special guests as well. It's Dr. Disrespect on next week.
No, it's not.
Someone with the outro, go on.
I thought I just did one, to be honest.
Yeah, but then you just got to finish it off, don't you?
All right, fair enough. Share your hot takes with us. Thank you for listening to the Try Podcast, episode 2. There will be more. Not 5 weekly. Weekly.
Boom.
Get ready for a release on a day of the week that we've not confirmed yet.
Yeah, not a rude release.
Yeah. Tune in next
See
week
you in a bit.
for more Tripodders.
And the live streams.
Outro.
Boom. See ya. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.